Hello beautiful creative people, Kyla Givehand here of Giving Hands Creative, and I am here to talk about Midori, Fodori, all things Midori, travelers, notebooks, style notebooks, okay? And not really to like do an overview because I have a video that I'll link to below where I talk about all of my planners, but I'm actually starting today with just, throwing it out there and saying, OMG, I have 5 Midori style notebooks at this point. I just ordered a 6th one. I am in the process of making a 7th one. So all of that to say, I think I'm pretty much addicted to this type of notebook keeping and documenting of my life. But as my collection grows, I am starting to realize that there may be a better system that I haven't figured out yet, and I'll show you in a minute why I'm even saying that. But I do, I've been leaving my original Midori, the actual Midori brand Midori, regular size. I've been leaving this home, and I had a revelation about 2 days ago where I was like, you know what? This is what started it all for me, and I need to use it more. But I'll be honest with you and tell you, this little thing here is bugging the heck out of me. I can't figure out how in the world I am going to... It's something about when I try to open the book flat, this thing is, yeah, it's in the way. So anyway, I'm fumbling with that and trying to figure that out. So that's one dilemma that I'm having is, can I make this functional for me? And we're gonna see if I can. So I'm gonna take a month and try to use this book as my primary notebook that stays in my bag, and just sort of my everyday kind of notebook. We're gonna see. I don't know. I'm skeptical about whether I can make it work, but we will see. And I'll do a walkthrough of this, a setup of this, totally separate from this video. Then I have my 2 passport size. Now this is the one that I made for Book in a Day 2013. It was one of the books I did for that session, and I'll link to the video below. But I've been using this, and you've seen this before, and I'll just do a quick little flash through. But I've been using this as like my little art journaling, doodling, collage type little notebook, right? So that's working fine. This does stay home. I don't really take, every now and then I'll take it on a road trip with us, but for the most part this one stays home. So that's that. But it's this one that I am struggling with. This is my Midori Cheek Sparrow. And yeah, I haven't quite figured out how to make it functional for me. I've customized it a little bit. I was a little disappointed that I didn't have a page marker in here, but I don't know if I was supposed to request that. I think I said that in a previous video. But I have, I do have some little notebooks in here, and I think, just to be completely honest, I think the thing that's bugging me is this flap that I asked for it to be trifold, and it feels like just a chunky burrito. And every time I go to use it, I don't know, it's something about trying to write. I haven't figured it out yet what it is. So I actually don't use it. And a friend of mine was like, Kyle, you should just sell it. But I don't know. It's something about your first of anything, right? We stay attached to it. So I was thinking, what if I just took, and I cut along here and just took this flap off. But then I was like, maybe I should send it back to her and ask her to do it, because I know she has a special way she bevels. Anyway, I don't know. This book, I really am struggling to use this one effectively. I rarely pick it up. So that's kind of what this video is about. A little bit about like the struggles of having so many notebooks. And I know a lot of people do videos and they're like, yay, yay, hurrah, we got all these notebooks. It's so awesome. Look at my collection. I'm so wonderful because I have all these notebooks. And that may be true. But what I have found is there's a dilemma that comes along with having this many. And so that's what I'm here to kind of talk about and put out today is, the dilemma of having so many notebooks and not really having a good system. So I am working towards a better system. And the 2 that I have figured out really good systems for are my Jonelli Fish Fodori and my Danny Dory, which is by Danielle Matthews of Kinjack Designs. These are my two favorites right now. Adore and love them both equally. And this one, let's see, I just changed them out. So this one used to be my planner, and I took it everywhere with me. I just switched them out. This one, the Danny Dory, is going to be my planner, and this is the one I'm actually going to talk about today in detail. And this one is going to hold my notes, client stuff. But for instance, when I travel for a trip, they both go with me, and it's kind of insane. But also at the same time, one goes in the suitcase and one goes in the bag. Right? This one, sorry, suitcase. I just switched them out, so I've had them reversed before. So this one. And I'm even saying it backwards now that I look at what notebooks are here. This one used to be my planner, and it stayed in the suitcase during travel, like in flight, because I'm not taking out my planner and, making appointments and stuff on the plane. But I am working on my, client notes, making lists and that kind of things, to-do list things I'm thinking about on the plane, jotting down things. That was happening on the plane. So one of them would always be in the luggage and one would be in my bag. So it wasn't, super heavy or anything. So I have recently switched them. This is now going to be my notebook one. So this will go in the travel bag. And I'm talking about that because I'm about to go on a trip. So that's why I'm even bringing that up. But this one will go in the suitcase because it just has, I'm backwards. This one will go in the suitcase because it is my planner right now. I just switched them. This is the planner. I'm going to have to get my mind wrapped around this because for so long I've been using them in reverse. But this one, the Jonelli Fish one, just accommodates my planner so much better because and this is the one I'm going to do a walkthrough of in a second. You'll see I've got a ton of stuff in here. So this is the planner one. This is the sort of note-taking one, and so this one will go in my bag for the trip. So it'll be these two in my bag for the trip, and this one will be in the luggage. Okay, so let's talk about this one because this is the one we're really here to talk about and do a little bit of a walkthrough for. So this is like I said, this one's made by Jonelle. I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try to butcher it. But people call her Jonelli Fish. And I'll have to link to where I got these little these long charms from. I love these. I will be buying more of those. And then these are just some butterfly. I used to make jewelry, and so these are from my jewelry making days. So I have what is called Mermaid. This is the Mermaid with a pop of color, and I think maybe fuchsia or purple. I don't remember what it was called. This is a very, very much a homemade thing that I have here, this little clear plastic thing, and I'll talk about this in a second. But what this is my planners are in here, and this I use the DIY Fish day on a page with notes on one page, and then I have a folder that I made using I have to go back and find what I used to make this. I can't remember, but it's just a folder. There's probably, I'm sure I found it wasn't a YouTube video, oddly enough. It was a written tutorial on a blog with photographs. So I have to go back and find that. It was super easy to make, super fun. And so it's just a piece of my artwork that I then took and folded up into a book or an envelope. So then I usually keep 3 months at a time in here. And in doing that I have this little thing here, and I'll talk about that in a second too. So in doing that and keeping 3 months in here for the last couple of months, and they're backwards right now because I'm about to change them out here on this video with you. So April, May, and June were living in here at the same time. So I started using this system as my planner in a Midori style notebook in May. January, February, March, April. Actually in January, February, March, but I didn't move it into the Midori until April. So that this is the first official one that I created. And I'm going to go ahead and take these out and just kind of show you how I do these. So this is, they're not attached. This is a piece of my artwork that I laminated with packing tape to just give it a clear, glossy, and to protect it so that I can use it over and over again. Then I put these little clear plastic holders, and funny enough, I got these from Office Depot. I purchased a couple of shelves from them. I think we purchased 2 or 3 shelves, 2 for my office, 1 for my husband's, and they had these were where they had the price tags were in these, so I took them, put double-sided tape on them, and now I'm using them to change out the month, each month. So April, I've got one here for May, right? And so these little things just slide right out, and I change them out each month, May, and then I have one in here for June. Okay, so that's what those are. So this is just a cover, really. I print the notebook out, and I've been pamphlet stitching it with floss. This is just dental floss. Is this? No, this is twine. I think a couple of others I did with dental floss. And yeah, so then this becomes my, I mark the Mondays so I can see where each week starts. I'm marking with little tabs. And then this becomes my planner for the month. Now what I noticed after doing this for several months is I was really missing having a monthly spread, like having the month spread. So I've decided I'm going to create a month spread just on the blank pages of this, and it'll just wrap around. It'll be sewn in with these. So this is my first time using, so I haven't even cut it or rounded the corners or anything yet, but it'll just be the first pages of my book, of my journal. Okay, so that's the plan for that. I'm going to add that. And this is just on 8.5 by 11 paper that I fold and then trim the edges a little bit so that they fit in here. Okay, so I have 3 of these, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out. I'm going to leave June in since we are technically still in June, very much so. But I'm going to take out May and April because I'm about to exchange them for July and August. And that's what I'm going to show you here today. So I really love the Jonelli fish because it has, you know, I asked for 4 straps. I think 3 or 4. Gotta double check that. And I asked for 2 page markers. So I do have 2 page markers. And yeah, so this thing here, it's stuck on, and I'll show you what that actually is in the real world if I can find. I had an extra to show you. I have a stack of things over here to my right. A little bit of show and tell as we go. Okay, here we go. So this is by Post-it, and it is just a it has a little sticky thing on the back here. You just peel that off and then you stick this wherever you want it to go, and it becomes an instant pocket. So that is what this is. Okay. This alright, so I am going to take June out so we can get to this. Alright, this is, or was, 2 clear vinyl envelopes that I put together with duct tape, special fancy duct tape, and made myself a wraparound folder. So I used to have the piece that showed what this was so I could share it with you all, but I cannot for the life of me find it. I will do some research though and try to figure out. And they're just called vinyl envelopes. I got them from an Office Depot, and for those of you, my friends not in the US, Office Depot, any kind of office supply store might have these, but they imagine it as just one side, one half of this, and then I put 2 together. I literally set them on this cutting mat and put the tape, you know, lined them up so they were nice and straight and even, and put the tape on here, and then I added this little pocket here this little pocket that you see here where my little stickers and stuff are here, that is just, I like little plastic things and recycling them. And I tend to get a lot of these little things from, I do a lot of conferences and workshops and presentations, and they're always giving us name tags, name badges. And that's all this is it is the name badge from a conference, and it becomes a little pocket envelope. So I could essentially, you know, put another one on here and have another little pocket, which I very well may do with that. So I just really DIY it, you know, customize for what fits for you. And so then this one fits around the first month, whatever the first month is, and goes right back into that first, on the first one of my things there. And I just have sticky notes, sort of like a dashboard, like people who have filofaxes, they call them dashboards. And so that's what this is. This is like my dashboard. I have this little sticky notes that I can peel off and use, and they stay stuck on there pretty good. And I just put bits and pieces inside of the pocket. And then I wanted to show also on my notebooks, I've been putting washi tape on the edge there. Okay, so that's what that is. This washi tape just keeps coming up, bugging me. I need to reinforce it. So I'm going to put this to the side and talk about how I even get these made. So I print out my entire month. Okay, so this is the entire month of July. I print it double-sided so that when it folds, it becomes a booklet style, right? So notes page, the day, notes page, the day, so on and so forth. Now, I will tell you, I wasn't very careful this time when I printed these, and a little bit got cut off over here, but not so much that it matters to me. It's like whatever, because I usually put some washi tape, decorate, doodle in it, so it's fine. It doesn't bother me much. So I have that printed. This is July, and July is printed on, I use this Southworth linen business paper. It comes in 100 sheets. It's 8.5 by 11. It's 24 pounds. It's cotton paper, and it takes fountain pen ink really well without bleeding through, and that's what I like about it most. I can also do some highlighting. I can use my pigment ink stamps, my Ranger archival ink stamp, and it doesn't do, I mean, there's a little bit of ghosting you're going to see. Let's see if I can find, there's going to be a little bit of ghosting, but it's not so much that it distracts. So here's an example. You can see that's from the other side, so it's a little bit of ghosting, but on this side I'm usually either writing over, I might put washi tape there, so it's not too bad. Trust me, my regular paper, it was like I might as well have just stamped on both sides of the paper. That's how much you could see through it. So this paper seems to not do that. And again, Southworth linen paper. Again, I got this just from Office Max, Office Depot, one of those guys. And then I ran out of this white paper, and I actually realized that I had, probably from way back in my job hunting days, I had this paper stashed away. So I printed August on this cream color. Now this will be my first time using this cream color paper, we'll see, but it's the same company, Southworth. This is just ivory, same weight, 24 pound, 100% cotton, so it's the same paper. So I'm guessing I'm hoping it's gonna take the ink the right way. The thing I noticed though with this is that I actually printed it upside down. So I'm gonna have to reprint this one, but I wanted to show you that because the settings on your computer totally matter. So this is gonna become paper that I use in art journaling and as like waste paper. Put paint on it and then collage with it. So I'm gonna reprint those, but I wanted you to at least see the paper and the color difference in the paper. So cream versus, or ivory versus white. All right, so put those to the side. And then before I move forward, just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Yeah, no. So the way I do this, I have a Teflon bone folder that I use, and I'll link to these down there. Teflon bone folders are different than like a regular bone folder in that, first of all, nothing sticks to it. Glue, paint, you can just kind of like scrape it off, rub it off with your finger. Think of non-stick frying pans. It's that same stuff for the most part. This is actually a bone folder, and so it will burnish the paper, which means you're going to have marks, very thin, very glossy looking marks on your paper. This won't leave any marks on the paper, and nothing sticks to it, which I like. So I just start by folding all of my pages. And I'll speed through this. I am not going to make you watch me fold paper. How cool would that be? So I'll be back at the end of folding my paper. See you back in a sec. Okay, so that took me under 2 minutes. You saw me doing one at a time, but I actually do about 4 at a time because that just makes more sense to me to do that. So in terms of size, what I have found is that I need to cut off, I usually cut from the bottom, a little bit from the bottom. So I just make myself a mark with my pencil. That's an eraser. And I'm not, I'm not very exact, but I'm close. I get really close. So I make a mark there, and then I look at where this is lining up, and I make a mark here. Okay. And that becomes where I cut these. Now, there are probably people out there who do theirs very differently, and that is, your prerogative. Everybody should use the technique that works for them. You could use you could take sheets out and do this on a cutting, using a paper cutter. I personally just use my ruler and a box cutter utility knife kind of deal. And I find that a little bit easier for me. The other thing I do is, I'm going to go ahead and get that lined up here, because I like to cut sometimes my hand slips, right? I'm not exact, I'm not a machine. And it takes multiple cuts because we're talking about a thick stack of paper here, right? So just start slicing, and it takes several slices. You're not going to get it all in one slice. I don't care who you are. It's going to take multiple slices of this because you're cutting through, I don't know, 17, 18 pages. Okay. So I've cut it to the right height. And it does, you lose a little bit at the bottom, but that doesn't bother me. Then we're going to cut the sides. Trim the sides, I should say. And I like to try to line this up I'm looking to just make sure, looking to make sure where I'm cutting is actually going to be accurate. So I try to line this up on my cutting mat in a way that helps me use the cutting mat as a guide. Now, I can tell you two things. I'm not really a stickler for straightness on this. I don't care. I just need my book to be functional. And if it's a little bit off kilter, off center, I'm not too frustrated or upset about that. Easy peasy. So now that is done. And we've got the right size. So the next thing I do is round my corners. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me round my corners. Then I sew the book together. And once the book is sewn together, then I come and grab my cover, the cover for the book. I change out the, if I can get my thumb in there, I change out this little piece. So I really just go find a piece of my artwork, and all I did is find a little piece of scrap paper, scrap art paper, and rubber stamp the word April on it. And so I'm going to do the same thing for July, stick it in there. And then for April's little thing, I'm probably just going to do like that and put it with April from last year. Or I may, since this is my first year using this, hopefully this system will be a system that I can adopt for some time. I seem to have trouble with that, which I'm going to talk about at the end here. But yeah, that's kind of where how I do my notebook, how I create it and get it ready. So I'll do one of those for July and August, add them to my notebook. Now the other thing that you probably are noticing, in my notebook, so I'm just looking for one that has, it's not too, doesn't have too much personal stuff on it. Here we go. This one's okay. I didn't journal this day. But I use a spiral decks. And people use spiral decks in different ways. I use it to track, not to plan. And the difference is, people who use a spiral decks to plan, they're actually using this as their, they write out on the side of it what they're doing at 1 o'clock or what they're doing. I use it to track my time. So what did I, what was I doing between 10 and about 1:45? I was on the road traveling, so it's red. Then I was doing some work, and so it's orange. Then I had personal time, travel, personal time, work, personal time. So I color code this, and this is just the way that I track my time. And what that allows me to do, the reason I do it, is because I like to be able to look back and see things like, I'm going to try to find a page that doesn't have too much journaling on it. I'll just keep my finger over this name. This lets me know I did a lot of work this day, right? And very little personal time. Most of this was probably sleeping time, right? So it allows me to kind of look at and track my life. Let's see. Again, this was like a day with a lot of work, a little bit of balance there, but there'll be some days where it's orange and very little purple, and some days where it's all purple, and here's one, all purple. It's a Sunday. I didn't do any work that day. These are moments when I say, okay, I do have balance in my life. I don't work all the time, because I do work a lot, and that's sort of the dilemma between when you love what you do. I love what I do, so I work a lot. So there's a lot of orange in my book. So that's how I use my spiral deck. So what I do, once I've created my notebook or my planner for the week, is I take my little spiral decks stickers, and I think you all maybe have seen these before in another video. I just printed out a bunch of spiral decks, copies of the spiral decks. And these happen to be on regular sheets of paper, but I also printed several sheets like that were, all of these are actual stickers. I printed them on labels, on a full sheet label, and then just cut them out so that I can just stick them in instead of having a glue stick or double-sided tape or whatever. So I go through and I do that, and then, when I'm sitting on my couch and watching, a show or a movie, I do put little stamps in, and I have my little ones that I use all the time. So my supplements, This is my one for like computer work where I have to need to be sitting at my desk. This is me filming or doing any kind of live. You know, I teach Wednesday webinars for my creative business strategist business. This is my water intake. And then I use, you know, there's some that I use over and over again. So I have that little cheat sheet there. Yeah, and that's pretty much how I do my planner. And then every now and then I'll go through and add some washi tape. I think there was a month where I was doing some art, and I didn't write anything on here. So I'll use this page as a good example of sort of how I lay out my page. DIY Fish already has these little teacups, and I drink a lot of tea, so I just keep that for my tea drinking. I stamp in the pill, which is medication, but I take supplements, B12 and iron, and some spirulina in my diet. So I kind of mark off when I've done good that day for that. This is my water intake. And then this was like literally green painter's tape from some project that I had laid stuff down. I was making art over it, and I always have these little bits and pieces sticking on the side of my desk, like even on the side of my art table. Like even right now I have a bunch of them just taped to the side of my table right now, right? So I could take this and just rip it off and put it in my planner for decoration. The other thing I stamp, I put my spiral decks in. I stamp a circle in the left corner of each page because this is where I write what I'm grateful for that day. So it's like my little gratitude circle, and I do that on every day. What am I grateful for? One thing I'm grateful for, just to stay in the mindset of gratitude on a constant basis. Up here I write the word of the day, so I subscribe to the dictionary.com word of the day. And so I put that word up here, and they're crazy words lately. So anyway, I put that up there. So that's kind of the layout of my page. And then some days you'll see, or not you'll see, but I do put, and I'm just looking for a day where I did it because I don't do it every day. I don't think there's anything on here. Just making sure. Alright, I'm just going to show half of this page. So this was a page where I was making a list of the books that I really want to try to read this year. And so I did, you know, this is a piece of tape that was for my artwork. And I just did some doodling. And this was pretty much done while I was waiting on video to load. Video like this that I had created, and waiting on it to load onto my computer so I can edit it. Well, I need to be doing something, keep myself kind of busy there. So this is what I do. So my gratitude circle, I did a little journaling about the reading and the fact that I don't read more and I want to read more, and I say I'm going to do it and I don't. Got a little sticker here. And so this is kind of what I do when I'm sitting on the couch or waiting in line somewhere for something. Had to get new tires on the car, so I was just sitting in the place waiting on them to put the tires on. Those are the kind of moments that I take and play and doodle in my notebooks or wherever I am. Alright folks, that's all I got for you on this one. Oh, I did say I was going to share with you my sort of struggle and my journey for planning, and I'll do that really quickly. It doesn't have to be, I think I've talked about it before. So I was using my Circa, right? So I was using Circa, and I was using, you know, the month, and then inside of that, all they had were the months, and this was the Lavender monthly ones. And I was using those and DIY Fish in conjunction. Then I tried to create my own, which was kind of funny, but it worked. I created my own. I just made these on the computer, went to Office Depot and had them print a bunch of them, like a bunch, so many, and I don't even use them anymore. And that worked for me for a little while, but I wasn't liking the lines, and so I left that. Then I made my own, again, with these tiny little lines. I was like, oh my god, who can see that? It's too much. So I changed that and made bigger lines. right? And used that for a while. So that was my next sort of version. Then I did DIY fish in a circa, and that worked for a little while. Then I did DIY fish. I don't remember what this layout was, maybe 2 days on a spread or something. I'm not sure, but I tried that for a little bit. I've tried a lot of different things. Again, I don't think I'm the only one. I think we all are searching. I think some people don't talk about it, but definitely. Then I tried printing the Passion Planner, her free PDF that she offered. I tried printing that, and I tried. The lines were too little. It was, yeah, so that didn't work for me. And so, yeah, I've tried a lot of different things, and I'm still searching. I don't know that the system I'm using right now is the absolute best system for me, but I keep tweaking it until it feels right and it works for what I need in my life. I also went to the big version of the planner, the Passion Planner, and tried that, but it's just too big for me. This is too much. I can't pop this in my purse. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to hear from other people down in the comments below. I hope I'm not the only one struggling. I don't believe that I am. I hear people talking about it on YouTube, and they, talk about planner bliss, planner nirvana, but they're constantly changing their planners and changing out the system they use. And so I don't know. I hope I'm not alone in it. I would love to hear from you. What are you doing? Have you found planner bliss? How do you think you found it? What was your journey to get there? If you've got a blog post you want to share with us, that'd be awesome. So yeah, I'm curious to know what other people are doing and dealing with in their struggle to find a system that works for them. I know I say that and I think like, oh, the Passion Planner lady, her name is Angela Trinidad, I think. She may have found Planner Peace, right? Because she created a planner that works for her, that she loves, and that so many other people in the world love as well. DIY Fish, maybe she has a system, and I think that's kind of what happens. Like when you find the thing that is your thing, you put it out to the rest of the world. You should say, you know what? I found something that works. I want to share it with everyone. And so I look at those people who have those systems they've created that they're sharing with the world, and I think, okay, those people maybe have found that place. I've yet to accomplish that. I can't find one planner that does everything I want it to do and has everything. But I will say DIY Fish has come pretty darn close for me. So we're going to see if DIY Fish in this way is going to work, because I've tried it in 2 other ways and it was like, not working really much for me. So we'll see. Alright, this has gotten long. Thank you so much for watching. Check out some of the other videos. Lots of videos on journal making, making your own books. Couple Midori ones. I've got some more Midori stuff coming up, and yeah, I'll keep talking about planning and showing you my setup and what I'm doing each month. I'll do a couple of videos where I actually walk through setting up one of my months, where I actually show you the stamps I use and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to come here today and say, for those of you who are struggling to find planner bliss and you see all these people in the world who seem like they have accomplished it, I don't know how true that is. And I think that there's space for us to talk about that and explore it. So, until next time, Toodles, go out, create something beautiful today. Bye.